Well, guys, if you were actually hoping to see Comrade Kamala Harris on the Joe Rogan Experience, it's not going to happen, folks. I never believed she would actually go on to Joe Rogan. Now, of course, President Trump went on Joe Rogan, and it was a massive success, a big success. Now, one would actually think, man, if you want the most people to actually hear from you, you would actually go on to Joe Rogan. He has the biggest podcast in the world. I mean, Joe Rogan, man, is the gold standard for podcasts. And folks, I really do believe that podcasts are really the future, more so than interviews with the mainstream media. I mean, guys, the Trump podcast with Joe Rogan, massive. I show you the views that he got just on YouTube, okay? But apparently, guys, Kamala Harris has some demands for Joe Rogan. You guys can actually see right here. Joe Rogan refuses Kamala Harris's conditions for podcast interview. Now, if anybody actually has watched JRE, you know that it's actually in studio in Austin, Texas. He has a very, very nice studio, man. The setup is great. And also these shows, some of them are like, 2-3 hours? I mean, the interview with President Trump was 3 hours. To be exact, I believe it's something like 2 hours and 58 minutes. I watched the whole entire thing. Now, when it actually dropped, it dropped late at night, so I didn't get to finish it because I believe it dropped like at 10 p.m. or something like that. And I watched some of it. Then the next morning, I watched the whole entire thing. And boy, I was not bored for 1 second. It was a fascinating interview, and it killed it. I mean, President Trump, man, he's very, very entertaining. It wasn't just politics they were talking about. I mean, they were talking about MMA. They were talking about JFK files, UFOs. I mean, it was everything. And Joe Rogan, man, he's not a journalist. He's a podcast host, so it's a bit different. But Kamala Harris, man, wants no part of Joe Rogan. It's pretty clear. Let's go ahead and dive into this, guys. It says here, Joe Rogan said he's still in talks to set up an interview with Kamala Harris, but that he won't agree to the terms suggested by her campaign. This is what he said, quote, also, for the record, the Harris campaign has not passed on doing the podcast. They offered a date for Tuesday, but I would have had to travel to her, and they only wanted to do an hour. I strongly feel the best way to do it is in the studio in Austin, Rogan said in a post on X. My sincere wish is to just have a nice conversation and get to know her as a human being. I really hope we can make it happen, he said. Yeah. Newsweek reached out to the Harris campaign for comment via email outside of regular working hours. Yeah. So guys, right there, that told you everything you need to know. She is actively avoiding Joe Rogan. Why in the world should Joe Rogan actually go to her? That doesn't make any sense. Joe Rogan, I don't believe he's done any podcasts remotely. But so why should he actually go to her? I mean, guys, Kamala Harris just was on with Shannon Sharp. She went to him. She was in his studio. I mean, guys, this is really insane. And she was horrible, by the way, with Shannon Sharp. Horrible. I mean, guys, this is how bad it is, man. But look here. The President Trump interview with Joe Rogan has 37.5 million views right now, guys. 37.5 million. It has 1.8 million thumbs up and 40,000 thumbs down. I mean, that is a massive success. Massive. He has over 475,000 comments. Now, if you look at Kamala Harris over here on Club Shay Shay with Shannon Sharp, it has 902,700 views. And it was a very, very friendly interview because Shannon Sharp is on Team Kamala. This thing is getting ratioed to hell, folks. 39,000 likes to 113,000 dislikes. And I'm willing to bet, guys, that, by the way, he has 46,500 comments. And Shannon Sharp does pretty well on YouTube. He really, really does. But I'm willing to bet, guys, if Kamala Harris actually did go on Joe Rogan, that the podcast probably be ratioed. Not because people don't like Joe Rogan. People really do despise Kamala Harris, folks. I mean, that is how you get ratioed like that. Because on Shannon Sharp's other videos, man, he doesn't get ratioed like that. I mean, what more do we actually have to hear from Kamala Harris? All she's going to tell you is, I'm from a middle-class family. That's a lie. In this podcast, Shannon Sharp is 1 hour and 3 minutes. I think she's even brings up being black, even though she's not black. Okay. Shout out to Candace Owens, man. She's doing some very, very good work on uncovering Kamala Harris's background. This woman is Indian and Irish, also possibly Jewish as well. Yeah. But Kamala Harris, man, is clearly running scared, man. She wants no part whatsoever. None. She don't want anything to do with Joe Rogan, guys. I mean, a 1 hour podcast? I mean, why? Are they going to make the excuse that she's busy? Hey, President Trump is busy too. That man is constantly on the run. He still found 3 hours to actually be on Rogan. And also, I believe he also did a rally, if I'm not mistaken, in Austin as well. Yeah. I mean, this was a massive, massive podcast. But, folks, another problem for Kamala Harris is the more she speaks, the more unpopular she becomes. That's probably why her people only won an hour. And they probably knew that Rogan wasn't going to go for that. I wasn't exactly sure how long Trump would actually speak with Rogan. I was anticipating at least 2 hours. It was 3. And I believe the only reason why I probably stopped was I believe Trump had to go and do another engagement. Yeah. I mean, Kamala Harris is done, man. She's done. She wanted no part of Rogan. And it's pretty clear. This is nothing more than an excuse, folks. I mean, and Rogan has had left-wingers on his show a lot. I mean, Bolshevik Bernie Sanders has been on there. He's had other politicians as well. Andrew Yang has been on there. Yeah. And I'm glad that President Trump actually did this podcast first. Because let's just say that Kamala Harris actually ends up doing a podcast with Rogan. It won't nearly be as good. I mean, what is she really going to say? I mean, Rogan wasn't asking, like I said, Rogan's not a journalist. He wasn't asking Trump necessarily about policy and stuff like that. And of course, Trump was actually, talking about policy, but Rogan, was just having a normal conversation. And that's the way it's really going to be. But I'm not even sure if Kamala Harris can have a normal conversation. I mean, she's out there with Gretchen Whitmer. I don't know if you guys actually saw this, man. She's faking like she's having a beer with Gretchen Whitmer and saying, "Oh, I didn't know the camera was around." Nobody believes that. Nobody believes that. I mean, she is struggling so badly with men. And she has to know, man, that a bunch of men are watching Rogan. They are. I'm a fan of the JRE. I can't watch every single episode. I mean, they're long. But I do watch a lot of the clips on his clips channel on YouTube. But there you have it, man. This woman wants no part of Joe Rogan. No part. I mean, Rogan wants this to happen, man. He told Trump that, yeah, he wants to interview her. But Kamala Harris clearly does not want anything to do with Rogan, man. I mean, for one thing, how's she going to top Trump? She can't. Trump went first. She can't top him, man. It's only going to go downhill. Maybe her people actually know that, guys. Maybe, just maybe, they know that. Gonna leave right there, guys. That's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and White Network fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And we'll catch you next time.